What's going on, fellow Yu-Gi-Oh fans? My name is Glenwyn. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back to my usual subscribers. Hopefully you're doing very well today. So obviously the ban list did come out yesterday as of time recording, so it did come out on the 23rd of April, and I released this Kuriboh deck profile last week, I think it was. And obviously one of the main cards in the deck was Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. We now no longer have Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon because that got hit on the ban list, so we cannot be playing certain cards in this deck now. So I've revamped the Kuriboh deck. It's no longer a pure Kuriboh deck. I don't even know what to name this deck. I'm going to call it Kuriboh Dangerous Cyber Dragons. I'm not even too sure. It's a long name. I'll work on it as I progress in the video. So let's get into the deck profile. You're going to see some spicy tech in the deck profile, and hopefully you boys and girls do enjoy it. And if you do enjoy this video, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And let's get straight into it. We're going to start with the main Fluffy himself. So let's just zoom in a little bit on him. We've got two Kuribohs. Obviously the deck and the ratios need to have a good consistency and a good synergy, so we're playing two normal Kuribohs, and obviously if he does get hit by Call by the Grave, then unfortunately you will not be able to use Kuriboh. But it's a good thing that most of our Kuribohs need to be put in the graveyard, and I'll explain why as the video goes on. The next best card in the deck is Kuriboh. This is like the Skyrim Kuriboh, as I like to call him. And the good thing about this card, he's probably one of the best cards in the deck because you can actually banish this card from your graveyard to special summon as many Kuribohs from the graveyard as possible. It's like a free soul charge for the deck, and he's absolutely incredible. The most broken card in my deck that I've just discovered recently is Clear Kuriboh. Now, the good thing about this card also is that you banish it, you get to draw one card. We play 33 monsters in this deck, so the chances of you drawing a monster is very, very high. So obviously you get to special summon cards like Chaos Dragon Levianeer for free, Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, because they do not state on the cards that they can't be summoned by other ways. So it's a free special summon, free beat sticks on the board. So Clear Kuriboh is an amazing card. And the next good card in my deck is Double Wing Kuriboh. Now the good thing about Wing Kuriboh is it can be special summoned quite a few times. I have cards for it, and obviously you will take no battle damage from the turn it's sent to the graveyard. So Wing Kuriboh is self-explanatory, one of the best cards hands down. Then we have Gay Pride Kuriboh at 2. I did bump him up to 2. He was at 1 at one point, but now he's at 2. And the good thing about this card is you can actually target an attacking monster with this card, equip it, and that monster cannot attack. So basically you're forcing your opponent to get rid of their own monster because they can't use it anyway. And obviously you want this in graveyard just so you can have the special summon effect. And its other effect is when the opponent's monster declares a direct attack while this card is in the graveyard, you get to special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. So really good card also. And then we round off the Kuribohs with Ring Dragon of Wrath Sphere Mode Kuriboh. That's not its actual name obviously, but it just looks like Sphere Mode to me. And when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, change the attack position monster to defense. Really good card, and that rounds off my Kuribohs. So a lot of people are going to be questioning why I am running dangers in here. So obviously I need some sort of draw power from this deck. So we're running 2 Bigfoot, and we're running 2 Thunderbird. Now the reason being they are in the main deck. It's not, don't overthink it, boys and girls. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, you should be playing it in your side deck because it's for going second so you can pop people's monsters and set cards. I play it because I want to get the draw power off it. I want the special summons. We have cards in our extra deck that we want to use these for as materials. These are just free cards that you use. You don't even need them. But obviously I play them just so I can get the draw power. And then obviously, as I discussed earlier, we're playing 2 Chaos Dragon Levianeer. This card is absolutely fantastic, and it's really good because we're playing light and dark monsters in the deck anyway. So this is why I said you're flooding your graveyard with light and dark monsters like Kuribohs, like Danger Thunderbird and Danger Bigfoot, light and dark monsters. So first effect is if you're only using light monsters, it has to be 3 monsters. You get to special summon 1 monster from your graveyard in defense, so you can reset your Cyber Dragon plays in this deck also. And then you can also, with dark monsters, shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand into the deck, and then if it was both light and dark, you get to destroy up to 2 cards on the field. So Chaos Dragon Levianeer in this deck is absolutely fantastic. And then we round off the spicy tech with 1 Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. I'm sure everyone knows what he does by now. Fantastic card. Here's the Cyber Dragon aspect of the deck. I mean, again, this card is usually for going second against your opponent, because if there's a monster on your opponent's side of the field and you have no monsters, you get to special summon him for free. Most of the time anyway. I mean, it's situational, but the reason why we're playing Cyber Dragons in the deck is literally just the synergy between light and dark, and actually having discard effects. You can go off from there. Like, Kuribohs are more for the graveyard, where you get to stop your opponent from attacking, but the Cyber Dragon aspect of the deck is where you can actually OTK or get big monsters on the board. I've had boards where my opponent can't even get over it, because they've gone through so many of their plays and combos. They've gone through so much material from their extra deck. Once you wipe their board clean, you're literally free to do whatever you want. But this is just from my experience. Again, this is all up to personal preference, boys and girls. Please use the deck freely, however you would like to play it. Please try it on YuGiOh Pro, for example. I always test my decks on YuGiOh Pro first before I do anything, and this will catch your opponent off guard, because not many people are playing a deck like this. I don't see anyone playing a deck like this. It's not something that you can play at regional level, but I do recommend that you try it out and catch your friends off guard with. But then we're going into the next card anyway, and that's Cyber Dragon Hurts. You can Foolish Burial this card if you would like to add a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. But a good thing about this card, if this card is special summoned, you can make it level 5. So if you have Cyber Dragon on the field or Galaxy Soldier on the field, you make this card level 5 also, and then you go into any of your rank 5 XE's plays. So again, I've put some ingenuity into this deck. I've put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's still undefeated as of time of recording. When Cyber Dragon Core is normal summoned, you get to add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. So it can be stuff like Cyber Repair Plant, Cyber Emergency, Cyber Rev System. They're all in this deck, and I'll show you that very, very shortly. And if you control no monsters, you can actually banish this card and special summon a Cyber Dragon from your deck. So again, you're resetting your field. And then last but not least, for the Cyber Dragon support, we're playing 3 Galaxy Soldiers. I know people do play it at 2 sometimes, but I want to make sure that this effect goes through when I get to special summon him and then add another one from deck to hand. So that's the reason why I'm playing 3. And then just for hand traps, again, it depends on who you're playing and your local area, what people are playing in your area. So I'm playing double Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit to stop cards like multi-roll for Sky Strikers. And then 2 Effect Veilers. I feel that Effect Veiler is self-explanatory, and I feel like we have established that Effect Veiler is probably one of the best hand traps in the game. As for the spell cards, okay, this is probably the most broken card ever. I really love activating Flute of Summoning Kuriboh on my opponent's battle phase, because it's a quick play, so you get to activate it. Even if they stop this one, sometimes I would activate the second one in my opponent's battle phase, and then they just can't do anything, because then you just special summon Wing Kuriboh from your deck, they destroy it, and then you take no battle damage that turn. So I love Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. It's really, really good card. A lot of people will question why I'm playing Card of Demise. Okay, so most of the time I do run through all the cards in my first starting hand, and that's because, like I said, the synergy in this deck is really, really good. So and then you get to draw 3 new cards. Even if you don't use them, send them to graveyard off his effect at the end phase, because most of the time they're going to be Kuriboh cards. I guarantee to you they will be. Or even if they're Cyber Dragon cards, like even if Hurts gets sent, you get to add cards to your hand. You get to add a Cyber, from Cyber Dragon Core on the next turn, you actually get to add a Cyber Spell or Trap. You're resetting your hand, so that's why I'm playing Card of Demise in the deck. I don't often see it, that's the problem. Again, you're going to question my ratios, but again, the deck was tight as it was, so it's very tough to fit everything in. So 1 Cyber Emergency, 1 Cyber Rev System, and 1 Cyber Repair Plant. So these are all the targets for Cyber Dragon Core if you do not get them in your first starting hand. Cyber Emergency is really good because it can add a Galaxy Soldier or a Light Machine monster. If you do need Cyber Dragon, you can actually get it through that. This will reborn a Cyber Dragon, and then obviously you get to add a Light Machine monster from your deck to your hand with Cyber Repair Plant. Last but not least, for that, I play 1 Machine Duplication. Again, you're going to question my methods of why I'm only running 1, but I don't want to brick in my hand. I really wanted to run more monsters to the ratio of spells and traps that are in this deck. So the reason we're playing only 1 Machine Duplication is because I want to build more combos with flooding the board with Kuribohs, rather than like having too many Cyber Dragon cards on the field. So these are all just like common standard cards that you can use. Foolish Burial, obviously you can use to dump a Kuriboh in there. Cyber Dragon Hurts or Core. 1 reasoning, obviously you get yourself a free special summon because your opponent won't know what you're playing at the time. So if they declare level 2, let's say for example, you get to special summon pretty much anything in your deck, because the only cards that are pretty much level 2 is Cyber Dragon Core. 1 for 1, obviously you get a free special summon of a Kuriboh because they're all level 1s. And then last but not least, for the spell cards, a very beautiful shiny Monster Reborn. Self-explanatory. If you do not know what that does in 2019, I don't know how to help you. And then last but not least, again, you're going to question why this is in the main deck, but obviously sometimes we come into like emergency plays, and obviously we have really problematic boards that this deck might not be able to deal with. Again, if you take cards like Gozen Match or Rivalry of the Warlords, for example, this deck heavily loses to it because there's so many different types and attributes in the deck at once. So we're going to have to have some sort of play where your opponent, you know, if you've got no cards on the field, which sometimes happens, and I lay down evenly matched at the end of the battle phase, again, you're resetting the board and hopefully your opponent doesn't have anything to out evenly matched. So that's the reason why I'm playing that in my main deck. As for the extra deck, I feel like we've established that Link Kuriboh has to be in this deck. This can be brought out off of Kuriboh if it's banished. Good thing about Link Kuriboh is you can go into this card at any time. I was actually thinking of putting this at 3, but it might have a consistency issue if I do that. But then even you get to re-special summon this. Like, this card is recyclable anyway, because you get to tribute a level 1 monster to re-special summon this card. And then we're going to go into, you know, if we get problematic boards, like we can go into Phoenix for spells and traps, Cerberus for special summon monsters, and then a Unicorn to shuffle a card from your opponent's field into the deck. So obviously we're playing the Nightmare package. Probably not Griffin as much unless you really need to set a card from your deck, but I doubt that you'll need to do that at any point. Sometimes I make a U-board, so I will play Proxy Dragon, and then obviously for Cyber Dragon support I will play the 1 Seeger. Draw power, the 1 Skuldred, very self-explanatory. I'm so glad that Skuldred didn't get hit on the list or get put to limited, so we can continue to abuse Skuldred if we need to, especially in decks like Crusadia Guard Dragon. OTKs, I've been playing OTKs a hell of a lot with Boral Sword, so sometimes I'll have 4 Kuribohs or 4 different monsters on field. Like I said, the dangers really help. All the special summons in this deck really help to build into Boral Sword Dragon. And then obviously I attack for game because my opponent can't get over Boral Sword Dragon. Obviously I sometimes have mirror matches with my opponent with Cyber Dragons, but again, if you have Cyber Dragon on the field and your opponent has a monster in their extra monster zone, or they have a link monster that you can't get over, I always recommend playing 2 Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragons for that example, and he's just absolutely fantastic just to stop those kind of boards. And then for rank 5 XEs plays, we've got the 1 Nova and the 1 very beautiful Cyber Dragon Infinity. Again, once it's linked up to Seeger and you have Infinity on the board, you know, you can actually take one of your opponent's monsters once per turn if they're in face-up attack position, and it can then negate absolutely anything. This card is so good still. And then last but not least, if I'm having a Trickstar matchup, any effect damage that I would take gets inflicted back to my opponent, so I'm happy to draw and take 1400 because my opponent will be taking 1400 damage. This is for number 14, Greedy Saramea, fantastic card. And then last but not least, to round off the extra deck, we are playing the 1, number 61, Volcasaurus. Fantastic card. You can go into this card at any time that you want. You get to detach a material from this card, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. It cannot attack directly a turn that you activate this effect, but this card has actually won me a few games here and there. Go into the side deck. Side deck is up to personal preference, and obviously it depends on what you're facing in your area. So 2 Dino Wrestler Pankratops. I don't really see myself going into this as much because I really want my Cyber Dragons to play with, and obviously it's very hard to side out cards for this card. The 1 Gamma Seal and then the 1 Lightning Strike Kaiju. So the good thing about this is that I will give my opponent Gamma Seal, and obviously I will special summon a 3300 beat stick. That's probably how it works. And then hand traps to finish off, 2 Ash Blossoms, and then 2 Sphere Modes for problematic boards, and then just breaking your opponent's boards. And then I play Triple Twin Twisters, again, you really want to sort out your opponent's back row. It doesn't matter what you're discarding. I have decided to actually side out the Call by the Graves. I'm only playing 2 Call by the Graves, but I've sided them out because I am not really seeing any hand traps in the game. We're in a meta and a format where your opponents are not really playing hand traps and they're allowing you to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, most people are playing like combo situated boards instead of actually, you know, triple Ash in the first hand or triple Effect Veiler here and there. So it's really nice that we can side out Call by the Grave. And then last but not least, to round off the side deck, double Infinite Impermanence. If you do not have Infinite Impermanence, then I would suggest bumping your deck up to 3 Effect Veilers or DD Crows. I mean, those kind of cards that stop, you know, your opponent's monsters, especially in graveyard. But this is more for column play. That's the reason why I run double Impermanence. So boys and girls, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was somewhat informative and somewhat different to what you usually see from other people. Again, there's a lot of meta going around. There's a lot of Salamangreats, Trickstars, Sky Strikers going around. I just wanted to be different and showcase a different deck profile. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and please consider smashing that like button because that really does help me out on the channel. And I will see you guys in the next deck profile. Glenguin is signing out. Peace.